on Senior Day. They take it by a score of 38-21 over Western Kentucky. Hey there, friends. Welcome to the Flame Central Game Day post-game show brought to you by Frank Good Builders. Rhett McGibbon here alongside Pat Kelly, DJ Jordan. And guys, this was the kind of game where when you looked at it, you thought Liberty, their struggle on the season had been the passing game against them, especially like quick little short passes, getting down the field with pace. Well, today they came out and played a game which we talked about earlier. Did this defense lack heart potentially in their last game? Today they showed all heart. What a performance by them.
Maybe they heard us in the pregame. I don't know. But,
yeah.
but I mean, they bowed up. They did a terrific job. Some really timely turnovers. You've got to be happy with the performance from that secondary today.
Yeah, and anytime you're going to have 550 yards of offense, you're going to win. And that's what they did today. They didn't have just not one, but two 100-yard rushers. Billy Lucas really stepped up. So it was really a powerful, powerful display today. And by the way, don't forget about that offensive line.
Oh, they were terrific today. In a lot of ways, I think if you took today's game and bottled it up, Flames fans would be happy to see that next week against Sam Houston, just a run-first kind of mentality, hopefully a Conference USA championship game, and then in a bowl game.
Yeah, honestly, the performance today reminded me of several games last season. You're rushing for 300-plus yards. I was having flashbacks of like, oh, this is the team of last year, that Fiesta Bowl competitive team. You mentioned it. The offensive line, I think, are across the board the MVPs of today.
Yeah, that's right. I think Jack Turner was the left tackle. He was phenomenal. There were holes all day long for Cooley and anyone who wanted to run on that side of the ball. It was really powerful. And I also want to give them credit. Liberty only had 3 penalties today compared to 8. They've been averaging about 8 penalties per game.
It's about darn time. They've been worst in the country all season long. Finally, a little bit of discipline. The thing's kind of going their way.
Not going to lie, I was nervous on that first play. You know, Juju runs it past the 50. I'm like,
here we go again.
There we are. They're cooking, and then bringing a bomb back. Anyways, Coach Chadwell, I'm sure, very pleased with this game. The Flames stay alive in their hopes of making it to the Conference USA championship game. He's standing by with Emily Austin.
Wow, Coach, what a game. I think it's safe to say that was your most complete game of the season. Let's start with the defense. Fast start, solid finish. What can you say about their effort here today?
I thought they were outstanding. You know, they 3 turnovers in the first half. They kept us in it when we weren't doing something offensively. They shut them down there, and then when we needed some stops there in the fourth, they got them off the field. So really pleased with their effort from start to finish. Forced turnovers, got tackles for loss, got sacks, just played really, really hard and played through some injuries. Had some guys get banged up, and new guys came in and played up to a great standard. So hopefully, prayerfully, we play this week. We play like that the same next week.
Yeah, offensively, you can punch that ticket to the conference championship game with a win next week. What did your offense do here today that gives you hope that you're able to do that?
Well, we controlled the line of scrimmage. You know, I mean, we had the 1 turnover, but besides that, we controlled the line of scrimmage. We overcame any penalties that we might have had. We overcame those, and we really just dominated up front. And so when we needed to make some plays, I was really pleased on 3rd down. We made some big plays on 3rd down when we needed to throw, and Dante Lee made a couple nice plays. And we played a complete game, you know, and we know we needed to keep them off the field. We were able to do that. I don't know what the stats were, but to be able to dominate up front and them know what we're doing and still be able to do it, there's no better feeling.
Yeah, over 400 yards on the ground. Coach Durkin had those big boys ready to play. Coach Chadwell, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Flames.
Thank you to Emily and Coach Chadwell. You know, we mentioned a lot earlier on this year just that the O-line was not in sync like they were a year ago. This game, flash in the pan, or has this group grown together and are finding their rhythm finally?
I think they've grown together over the season, and that happens, right? You start to develop some camaraderie as the season goes along. There were injuries early in the season. It's a new unit. I think they're finally piecing some things together. I was talking with some fellow supporters offline about today's performance. That offensive line was tremendous. I mean, you are not going to lose a game when you rush for 400 yards, and they did that, and they're going to need it next week.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's kind of funny to hear Coach Chadwell say, hopefully, prayerfully, we will play like this. It's because he knows the talent that he has on his team, and he knows what they're capable of. And today, the offensive line dominated. The defensive line actually did a good job, too. They did not blitz that much on the defensive side. They had the 4 who were able to put pressure on Veltkamp, especially in the 4th quarter when they had a little bit of momentum trying to come back.
Well, speaking of next week, Flames taking on Sam Houston. Sam Houston today losing to Jacksonville State by a score of 21-11. So the Jacksonville State Gamecocks have punched their ticket to the Conference USA Championship game. I feel bad. I don't know all the scenarios. I'm not sure if that 100%, I think that does eliminate the Bearcats from contention in my belief. So the only two teams remaining to go up against Jacksonville State would be Liberty with a win next week, or potentially Western Kentucky. They are still alive after their loss today. Well, let's take a look here at our Finks Jewelers play of the game. It was late stages, second quarter, Liberty ahead by 7, and then our man right there, he got going. Billy Lucas, all of a sudden, that was third in a decent amount. He took it for about 40 yards. That set up the Flames well.
Yeah, and right, the thing is, Liberty was looking to just get to the half, up a score. They ended up not having to punt on that third down, and they're like, hey, while we're past midfield, let's go for the touchdown. You saw there Caden Salter rolling right, finding Juju Gray, getting the toe in for the touchdown. That swung everything in this game, I think.
And I think it gave him a lot of momentum and confidence going into the halftime. Like we've said before, Liberty has been used to playing from behind, and today they did not. Salter didn't have an amazing passing game, but he had about 108 yards passing. He was 6 for 11, but he made a couple of big pass plays at the right time on third downs that you didn't expect. So great game for Salter.
Yeah, it was solid. He was kind of field general-esque, you could say. He made the plays when he needed to. We mentioned Dante Lee Jr.
Didn't make big mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. Lee Jr. had a couple of key catches on third down as well that kept the chains rolling for LU. Take a look here at the final stats of today's game, brought to you by Haley's Appliance. And the big number, again, the rushing yards over 400. Absolutely magnificent if you're a Flames fan. I think one number two that's key, passing yards for Western Kentucky, 262. That's their average on the year, but for a secondary that struggled against the pass, I think that's a great number for Liberty.
You're exactly right. They got victimized a couple times on some chunk plays. They did give up the 2 passing touchdowns, but honestly, they stepped up when they needed to. You know, you've got to be impressed with this team. DJ, you mentioned it. Liberty didn't blitz a ton, and I think that's because they didn't want to put their corners out there on an island. Right. But everyone did their job. They stepped up and they made plays.
That's right.
Another number there we mentioned is that Western Kentucky, second to last in the conference play when it comes to third down defense. Liberty 8 of 13, over 50%, well over 50% in that category.
Yeah, I mean, Liberty's been good all year on third down, and that is definitely a recipe for success if you're trying to win.
And speaking of third down, I think the play of the game was possibly that Salter pass when it was 3rd and 15 and late in the third quarter. It was after the failed flea flicker. It was right after that. If they did not get a first down on that play, who knows what could have happened, because Western Kentucky was playing with so many offensive momentum, and they had scored on the last 2 series. That was a really big play.
That was huge. Well, last year, Flames, obviously, we all know, was one of the top teams in the nation, the top team in the nation when it came to interceptions. Has not been the case this year, only 4 on the season, until today when they added 3 more on. The old group came back. They wanted the Joker mask out and very present today.
Guys, how bizarre was this that arguably the best quarterback they faced all year, who's taken care of the football, you're thinking, oh, he's going to take care of it, it's going to be a tight game. Immediately in the game, you end up getting 3 interceptions on the night, so you got to be thrilled with that.
The coaching staff played up. They schemed a great game, because I was looking at the defense all game. I feel like they played at least 6 or 7 different types of schemes on the defensive side that may have confused Veltkamp, because they went back and forth between 3 and man-to-man and all these different types, and it really confused them.
Yeah, speaking of Veltkamp, I'm sure not a great day in his mind. Whenever you throw 3 picks, it's not great. Still had 2 touchdowns, and when you look at this young man, a budding star in the league, you could say.
I certainly think so. I mean, he's got all the measurables, 6'6", and 235 pounds. He looks the part, and he delivers the ball. It comes out on time, on target. He forced a couple throws today, and that's going to happen, especially when you're down in the game. But yeah, I think he certainly is. He's future for this program.
I think so too. There was a lot of pressure on him today. He had 34 attempts. It really was on his back to win this game today, and it just didn't work for him today. But the 4 interceptions, some of them, you just shake your head because you see how well he's been playing and how accurate he is. And some of the throws were just like, what in the world are you thinking?
I will ask this question, though. After a loss last week against Louisiana Tech, now a loss against Liberty.
Oh, you're going to go there?
I am. 2 weeks of struggle. Do you turn to the veteran for the last game?
No, I don't think that you do. I mean, he's kind of been your leader. Aside from this game against Middle Tennessee State, he completed 90% of his passes. It's tough when you can't establish the run. Liberty did a pretty good job outside of a couple chunk run plays today. So when everything is squarely on your shoulders, it does make it tough. I think you stick with Veltkamp.
Normally, I would say that, but in this new field of college football, you never know. And he was actually in the portal before last year's bowl game and then came back and decided to stay. you never know. The coaching staff could be like, hey, Finley's the veteran. He's been here. He deserves to have these last few games. And they're probably going to go to a bowl game as well. So.
Interesting. Let's
disagree.
keep our eyes on that one. I like it. The one aspect, and we've mentioned it multiple times, the run game today for Liberty, it just wasn't Cooley. It was a three-headed monster. Cooley, Lucas, and Caden Salter all a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, these guys were electric to watch. You saw this established early on. Western Kentucky's not great. In their 3 losses this year, they're giving up an average of 218 yards per game. Well, Liberty blew that out of the water. So, I mean, Liberty was attacking on all fronts here.
What I really love about the run game was the creativity. You couldn't really anticipate who was going to get the rock because there were so many people. Billy Lucas, don't forget about Von Blue and Juju Gray as well. They had some great runs today, a lot of misdirection. I really enjoyed watching all of the creativity around the run game.
Yeah, run game felt a lot like last year today. In all truthfulness, it really
was.
It really did, because you're getting different guys involved, and it wasn't just Cooley up the middle. You were able to capitalize option game on the outside. You see Juju Gray taking some sweeps, catching some pitches. You see Salter here keeping the ball running. They had a tough time containing Salter. So even though his passing numbers weren't up to snuff today, he extended so many drives with his legs.
And it seems to be the case where Liberty now relying on Salter to be a bit more of a run-first quarterback. So far, so good here the last few games. You look at the numbers overall, Cooley, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns. Lucas, 131 with a tutty, and then Salter as well, 66 yards, a touchdown. You're not going to lose any games.
I mentioned this before, Military Appreciation Day. This is what the academies often do in their option attack. Army, they're the leading rushing team in the country right now. This is exactly the type of thing that they're doing. And it's a lot of misdirection, a lot of creativity, a lot of different athletes touching the rock on the run game. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun to watch. Well, Quinton Cooley missed his senior day in high school. Did not miss his senior day with the Flames. He was absolutely terrific, and he is hanging out right now with Emily Austin.
Quinton Cooley, senior day here today. What can you say about this team's offensive performance, including your guys up front?
We executed. The big guys was hungry all week, and we knew we had to come in and really execute because we really started game sloppy. We kind of started hot this week, but we executing here and there, but we just got to learn how to stay consistent. But my big guys, they got every yard. Every yard is for them. We had 400 yards today, but that's them. They opened up the holes. I wish y'all could have seen the holes. They were huge, but
we saw them going cool. Don't worry, we saw you going right through them.
But yeah, they're a blessing. I love them boys. They call the War Pigs for a reason.
Yeah. You guys still have so much to play for. 1 game left, and you get that championship game berth. What can you say about what the fight in this team that they'll be able to pull that off next week? And what's the message as one of the leaders of this team?
We just gotta keep going, keep being consistent. Don't get comfortable with ourselves. We gotta learn how to be uncomfortable, you know. So we know we've been in a lot of dog fights, so we gotta continue to do that. Sam Houston's a good team coming up, but we gotta be able to control ourselves, control the game in our hands. Today was probably way better than penalties and everything we did today. So learning how to execute on that side of the ball. But the message is already said: strike the stone, keep striking the stone until it's over, and that's what we're gonna keep doing.
I know this game felt good today, and senior day for you. You've meant so much to this program in your 2 short years. You didn't get to play your high school senior day, so you made up for it here today.
Yeah, I did. My high school coach, he's gonna be mad when he see this, but yeah, I love that I have fun. All the seniors, I love them, love Liberty. I'm so glad that we played and ball out together.
I think we feel the same way, that you've been such a blessing here in the Mountain. Quinton Cooley, great game. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Great to have Quinton Cooley, again, carrying the rock here. 2 short years is right. Hard to see him go so early on. Sam Houston, that's the last game on the slate for LU. Again, that is on a Friday, not on a Saturday there, friends. So eat your turkey, on Thursday, get all loaded up, sleepy, and then hang out at home on Friday, catch that game against Sam Houston. Flames win that one, and they punch their ticket to the Conference USA Championship game for the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah, I mean, backs against the wall. This is for all the marbles. Liberty came out today when the season's on the line. Same exact thing next week, a chance to extend your season, go to the conference championship. So I'm excited to watch that from my couch with probably some sweatpants on, because my stomach will, it'll be way out here. But,
Yeah.
Says the skinniest guy.
I won't be eating any charcuterie and that stuff y'all be eating in Canada. Well, I'm very much looking forward to that game. Sam Houston has a great defense.
Yeah.
So that's really where it's going to be, that matchup right right there to see if Liberty can maintain that rushing attack against a strong defense.
Well, again, Flames win today on Senior Day by a score of 38-21. Again, next week on Friday, taking on Sam Houston for an opportunity to play for the Conference USA Championship. For DJ Jordan, Pat Kelly, and Rhett McGibbons, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great afternoon. God bless.